Okay, Jack, I've been thinking about this hypothetical scenario, and it's truly wild. What if the only time you were awake, truly conscious, was when everyone else in the world was asleep? Like the moment the sun sets, you're up and running, and the second it rises, boom, you're out.
Whoa, Jill, that's a mind bender. My immediate thought is, how do you even function? Like, just basic survival stuff, groceries, doctor's appointments, work. Everything operates on a daytime schedule.
Exactly. It's not just a shifted sleep schedule, it's a complete inversion. You'd never ever interact with another human being directly. No conversations, no shared meals, no going to a store when it's open. You'd be a ghost in a silent city.
A ghost is right. Imagine the loneliness. I mean, you could probably leave notes, send emails, engage with online communities that might operate on a different schedule or asynchronous communication, but there would be no live hello, no actual human connection. That's brutal.
It's profoundly isolating. You'd be experiencing the world entirely alone, all the time. Imagine walking through Times Square at 3 a.m. every single day, and it's always like that. No crowds, no yellow cabs honking, just empty streets and buildings.
But there's a flip side to that, right? The peace. The absolute, unadulterated peace. No traffic, no noise pollution, no queues. You could walk into any museum, any library, any public space and have it entirely to yourself. That's almost liberating.
Liberating, yes, but also a constant reminder of what you're missing. You'd see the remnants of people's days, a forgotten coffee cup, a newspaper left on a bench, and it would just underscore your solitude. You'd be living in humanity's shadow, constantly.
True. But think about the practicalities. How would you eat? Most grocery stores have overnight staff for stocking, but they're not there to serve customers. Would you have to leave a list and cash for someone to pick up for you? Or would you rely entirely on automated systems?
I guess online ordering would be your best friend. Schedule deliveries for when you're asleep, and then hope they leave it somewhere secure for when you wake up? Or maybe there's a whole new service industry that springs up for the nocturnals, people who just manage the deliveries for you.
The nocturnals. I like that. So let's say you've figured out food, shelter. What about work? You couldn't be a teacher, a doctor during the day, a retail worker. You'd have to find something that can be done entirely asynchronously or during the night hours, like a night watchman perhaps, or a remote coder.
Yeah, or maybe you'd become the ultimate urban explorer. Imagine having free reign over entire cities, just you and the streetlights. You could discover hidden gems, climb buildings, do things that would be impossible during the day. It'd be like living in a perpetual open-world video game, but it's real.
That's a romantic way to look at it, but I'm still stuck on the profound lack of human interaction. We're social creatures. Even introverts need some connection. What happens to your mental health after months, years of this?
That's the big one, isn't it? The sheer weight of that solitude. You'd see evidence of life everywhere, homes with lights off, cars parked in driveways, but never the life itself. It would be like constantly watching a paused movie of humanity.
So, would you eventually just go mad? Or would you find a way to thrive in that unique solitude? Maybe you'd become incredibly self-sufficient, introspective, creative. You'd have all the time in the world for hobbies, for learning.
You'd certainly learn to appreciate the small things, the sound of your own footsteps echoing, the way the moonlight hits an empty street, the quiet hum of a distant city. You'd become incredibly attuned to details that most people ignore in the daytime bustle.
And the stars. Imagine seeing the stars every single night without light pollution from the city lights. That's something most of us in urban areas rarely get to experience. A permanent, personal planetarium.
Yeah, those moments would be breathtaking, but then you'd turn around, and there's no one to share that breathtaking view with, no one to point it out to, no one to gasp with. It's a bittersweet beauty.
What if you needed help, an emergency? You trip, you fall, you have a medical crisis. There's no one. Hospitals are open, but who do you call? The emergency services would probably be operating, but who's there to let them know?
That's terrifying. You'd have to be incredibly self-reliant, almost paranoid about safety. Maybe some kind of automated alert system linked to emergency services. But even then, imagine lying there waiting for help, knowing the whole world around you is just oblivious.
It's like being the last person on Earth, but you know everyone else is still there, just dormant. You're effectively in a single-player version of a multiplayer game that pauses every time you log in.
That's a perfect analogy. So, would you choose it, if you had the choice, to experience that unique kind of freedom and solitude, even with all the challenges?
Honestly, for a brief period, maybe, like a week-long experiment, just to see what it's like to have the world to myself. But permanently? No way. The human connection, the shared laughter, the simple act of looking someone in the eye and saying hello, I couldn't live without that.
I'm with you, the allure of the quiet, the freedom, it's strong, but the thought of never hearing a friend's voice in person, never seeing a loved one's smile, that's just too high a price. It makes you realize how much of our reality is built on shared experience.
It absolutely does. It makes you appreciate the mundane chaos of everyday life, doesn't it? The traffic, the crowded shops, even the occasional annoying person on the train. It's all part of the human tapestry.
So true. You'd become an expert at observation, I bet. You'd see the world not as it is, but as it was just moments before, or as it will be. You'd track the patterns of life through the things people leave behind or the subtle changes from day to day.
Like a detective of everyday life, piecing together the narrative of a sleeping world, you'd probably become an incredible storyteller, describing the quiet majesty of a city at 4 a.m., the empty parks, the way the dawn light slowly creeps over buildings before anyone else sees it.
And the creatures of the night would be your only companions. Raccoons, owls, maybe a stray cat. You'd have a profound connection with the nocturnal world that most people never experience.
That's a beautiful thought. Your social circle would entirely consist of urban wildlife. Imagine developing a bond with a particular fox or a family of opossums. They'd be the only ones sharing your waking hours.
It paints such a vivid, almost melancholic picture. It makes you think about how our existence is so intertwined with others, how much of our identity and well-being relies on shared time and space.
Absolutely. It really puts things into perspective. Next time I'm stuck in traffic or annoyed by a crowded store, I might just remember this conversation and be a little more grateful for the hustle and bustle of a waking world.
Me too, Jack. It's a powerful reminder that our connection to each other isn't just a luxury, it's a fundamental part of what makes us human, and a world without that, even if it's full of quiet beauty, would be a very lonely place indeed.
Couldn't agree more, Jill. Thanks for taking us down that thought-provoking rabbit hole. It's certainly given me a new appreciation for my noisy neighbors.
Anytime, Jack. And to all our listeners, imagine that for yourselves and tell us, would you embrace the nocturnal life or crave the daylight interactions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay connected.